Hello and welcome to Bear Necessities. My name is Bear and today I want to start a series that will explain all of the raid strats for instance content in vanilla EverQuest 2 on Origins. I had a series on Varsoon where I would explain instance dungeons, but since we are going to be in Classic for the next couple of months at least, I figured it'd be a good idea to show people these raids, so if you haven't cleared them, you can before Desert of Flame launches next year. So without further ado, let's get started. Spirits of the Lost is a raid zone added in Live Update 9. Originally, this zone was utilized to unlock the Froglock playable race on your server. On TLEs and Origins, it's just a raid zone, but there is one artifact that will drop once per server randomly off the last boss, Venekor. To start this zone, we will clear Golem trash in the entrance area and on the top side of the zone. On a lot of TLEs, this will spawn a named on the top side, but this has been bugged on Origins for months now, so it likely won't get fixed. After clearing the top, we shift to the bottom and start clearing trash. Once you get to the first fork at the bottom, keep clearing trash to the left, where we will encounter our first couple of named mobs. The first name we will encounter is Uktan the Dark. This named is pretty simple and doesn't have any AoEs or strong mechanics. This does have an eliminator in the pack, which is a berserker, so it's usually a good idea to keep it targeted until it dies to avoid unnecessary damage from Rampage. Other than that, tank and spank. The second named in the adjacent room is Swiftsick the Mad. This mob is just tank and spank. After that, we will clear trash all the way down to the two steel golem rooms from Krakat the Cruel. There will be a pot on the ground in each room that will spawn the next two named. I recommend starting on the left side, and I'll tell you why later. The first name that will spawn is Enforcer Zifa. This named is essentially tank and spank until about 50%. At this point, a second named will spawn, Krakat the Wary. It's important to either get the main tank to pick this up and tank both, or get an off tank to grab the new named. Make sure everyone swaps off to debuff Krakat as well. After that, finish off the Enforcer Zifa encounter and swap to Krakat the Wary. Krakat does have a melee-based AoE that is a damage over time ability, so trauma cure or heal through this as necessary. The next named is Krakat the Cruel. This spawns from clicking the pot in the steel golem room on the other side. This encounter probably hits harder than any other encounter in the zone, so be ready. If you have a strong tank and healers, you can let the tank the entire encounter, but I've seen scenarios where an off tank will grab an add or two while the main tank holds the named. The biggest reason this named does a lot of damage is because both of the adds are eliminators, and stacking rampages from the two adds plus the named can potentially wipe you, so keep this in mind when you choose either of the strats I mentioned. Other than that, kill the adds first to reduce the damage and make this fight easier for the tank groups, and you will kill this just fine. The next named mob, Krakat the Conqueror, spawns upstairs near the EQ2 room from Krakat the Cruel. This named is the first of a few that have large, uncurable AoE stuns. Krakat is Noxious based and is called Venomous Cloud, so ensure that you have your Nox resist buffs up. Whenever this mob is pulled, ensure that all your ranged debuffs are in and allow for the first AoE to hit. This AoE can be interrupted if you watch the cast bar and use interrupts on reaction, or you can just call for people to joust out to reduce the amount of people hit by this AoE. Standing greater than 15 meters away from the mob will ensure that you don't get hit by Venomous Cloud, so I recommend casters and healers do this, or go in between AoEs and joust back out to avoid it. Other than handling this AoE Venomous Cloud, just kill the named and AoE down the adds. After Krakat dies, the zone progresses to a second stage where a lot of the trash respawns. One pack will spawn right on top of you. The trash on this side has less HP than the trash on the opposite side, so that's why we killed the steel golem room bosses in this order. So hang tight and kill the trash pack that spawns on top of you, kill that and a few more packs, and get ready for the next boss in the EQ2 room. Talart's the Tyrant is a really fun AoE DPS encounter, but it does have an elemental uncurable stun called Chilling Mist. Handle this exactly how you did for the previous named, and have fun doing big AoE damage on all of the adds. After this named, we continue to make our way back out of the inner sanctum towards the zone entrance until we run into the Yakio. This mob has Venomous Cloud exactly like Kizik the Conqueror earlier, so handle it accordingly and move along. After a few more trash packs, we will come upon a huge group that has a Ritual Master. If you don't kill the Ritual Master quickly enough, he will spawn a Named. This Named has a large elemental stun AoE similar to Chilling Mist, but it is curable. If you want to kill this mob, you will have to make sure that the new encounter gets debuffed quickly, and the tank that picks up the Named gets ample heals and keeps the mob far enough away from the raid in the beginning to ensure everyone doesn't get stunned. Finish off the previous trash pack, and then swap over and kill the boss. However, a lot of guilds do choose to skip this mob, and if so, just kill the Ritual Master very quickly, along with the trash pack, and move along. Continue to clear back towards the entrance, but first make a pit stop in the side halls for High Priest Y aka Y. This name is strange in that it does have an elemental AoE stun called Wondrous Colors or something like that, but it very randomly uses it. Sometimes you will kill this Named and never get the AoE, while other times you will get the AoE 5 seconds into the pool, so be cautious. Other than the AoE, this Named is pretty tank and spank. As we get back to the fork in the inner sanctum, we will stop over and kill the final Named down here called Krakat the Vigilant. This Named is just tank and spank. Now that we are back topside, you will notice there are a number of respawns here as well. Kill the golems near the entrance and move back to the very top. Up here there are 3 packs of golems to kill. Be careful when you engage these encounters, as there is a chance to social aggro Venekor, who is sitting in the middle of the area up top. The aggro range of Venekor seems much smaller on Origins, so you don't have to be as careful, but still use some constraint until the mobs are back to the raid. The final encounter of Spirits of the Lost is Venekor. He has 3 main mechanics to talk about. First, he has a Noxious Dot AoE called Acidic Mist. Make sure your healers are watching cast bars and pre-cure this if possible. If you don't have a healer with a group Nox cure, make sure you're using a cure potion. The second mechanic is an AoE called Wing Buffet that will only hit the main tank group. This is a knockback, so if you are in the main tank group, make sure you're wedged somewhere. Venekor has no frontal AoEs, so you can safely move in front of the mob if you want to wedge yourself with the main tank for this. The final mechanic is a totem in the middle of the arena. This totem will glow a specific color corresponding to class archetypes: Fighter, Priest, Scout, and Mage. Pick a representative from each of these types to be ready to click the totem when necessary. If you don't click the totem, there are various AoEs that will hit you. Some of them are stuns, so I do recommend clicking the totem when your class type needs to. If colors are hard to see for your team, you can right-click the totem to see which class type needs to interact with the totem. Finally, kill Venekor's golem ads first, then the dragon, and you will have completed Spirits of the Lost and saved the Froglocks. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoy this raid strat series. The remainder of the zones are pretty short, so I may include multiple zones in each video. If you enjoy this type of content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.